A very good morning and welcome to this Thursday session of Yoga Online. Sit comfortably, sit tall and lift the trunk out of the hips. Press the sitting bones down and can you increase the distance between your shoulder blades and the hips, softening the abdomen. Take the arms out to the side, turn the palms to face forward, turn the palms to face up. Breathing in, raise up the arms. Once again, lift the shoulder blades away from the trunk, away from the hip. Soften the abdomen. Join the palms together and release your thumbs onto the sternum. Can you feel a quietness in the abdomen, maintaining the length of the size of the trunk? Eyes closed. Bring your attention to the breath for a few moments. Begin by chanting Om 3 times. Take a slow, deep breath in. Slowly release your hands. Open your eyes. Press your fingertips on the floor. Press the finger pads on the floor. And lift the trunk out of the hips. Feel the length of the side of the trunk and feel the spine lengthening as well. Most often when we sit, we tend to collapse the trunk, the weight of the trunk onto the hips, and at the same time there's undue pressure on the lower back. Now pressing your fingertips on the floor and lifting the trunk, make your legs heavy. Make your legs heavy by engaging the thighs and firming up the hips. Let the hips and sitting bones become the foundation of your pose. Lift out of the trunk. Hands onto your knees, wrap your fingers and palms around your knees and straighten the elbows. So we create a lightness in the trunk and a weight in our legs, enabling us to sit for longer. Lift the armpits away from the hips, lengthen the sides of the trunk. Take the arms out to the sides once again, turn the palms to face up. Broaden across the chest and raise up the arms. Here again, lift the shoulder blades away from the hips, creating a lightness in the trunk without strain. Back onto the floor, press your fingertips down and straighten out your legs for Dandasana. So, like we have Tadasana in the standing poses, which is your basic standing pose, we have Dandasana, which means a staff pose, seated. Move your heels away from you, toes towards you. Engage the legs by pressing the thighs down towards the floor. Press your fingertips once again onto the floor, roll the shoulders back, broaden the chest and lift the trunk. Gaze forward. Bones settling down to the floor, feel the hips being settled and lift the trunk. From here, raise up the arms once again and extend your wrists and palms away from the hip. Extend your heels away from the hip, maintaining a length in the trunk and a length in the back of the legs. Gaze forward. and take 3 full breaths in the pose. Breathe out and release your hands. Take your feet slightly apart. Raise up the arms once again. Reach forward, hold on to your toes. You can bend the knees. And now walk to straighten the legs. As you straighten the legs, lift the trunk. From the backs of the legs, and feel the back body stretch and lift, soften the abdomen. This is Padangusthasana. Keep lifting the trunk away from the floor. Stretch your heels away from you, toes towards you. Release your hands and fold your legs in for Baddha. Remember, in the sitting poses, it's your hips, your knees, your ankles that needs to work. The ligaments of the knees, the hip joint and the ankle joint needs flexibility in order for us to sit. We've been conditioned to sitting on chairs. So sitting on the floor becomes difficult, especially for the lower back. Asana. Hold onto your ankles and lift the trunk. So in all the sitting poses, create a lightness by lifting the trunk away from the hips. Keep the arms straight. If this is difficult for you, take your fingertips to the sides of your trunk and lift the trunk. So create space in the trunk while your knees go down. And draw your heels closer to the hips. And now walk to start flexing your knees. Butterfly wing action. Do as much as you can. Stop. Now press the left side down 3 times. The thigh muscle is a very strong muscle. The hip joint is a very strong joint, but they need constant work. Release. And the other side. Press the right side down. So this is good for opening up the hips and creating a freedom in the hip joint, which is essential for the sitting poses. Now roll over onto the left side slightly and take the right side down. If you want to use the pressure of your hand, it's fine, but keep the left side down. Release and change sides. Over to the right and now walk the left side down. That's the action. Come up once again. And now using the strength of your muscles, take your knees lower. Take your knees lower and open the feet. Open the feet brings a release to the groin area and lift the trunk out of the hips. There should be a softness in the groin area using the strength of your thigh muscles to take your legs down. If this is difficult for you, press your fingertips behind you and lift out of the trunk while bringing your thighs almost parallel to the floor. And release. Hold on to your big toe of both your legs and stretch out into Upavista Konasana, one leg at a time. Even in Upavista Konasana, take your legs as wide as possible. Press your thighs down, heels away from you, toes towards you. Engage the legs, soften the abdomen and lift the trunk. Create a height in the trunk. If you cannot hold your feet, it's perfectly fine. Release your fingertips behind the hip and lift the trunk. If you're holding onto your big toes, hold firmly. Padangusthasana, Upavista Konasana and lift the trunk. Look forward, concave action. Move the shoulder blades into the body. And so now one by one, draw your legs back to the center. Fold your right leg over your left. This is preparation for Padmasana, the lotus posture, but you need to have the flexibility in the knee, the ankle and the hip. Flex it 3 times. While doing this, can you maintain the lift of the trunk? So don't collapse the trunk, keep the lift of the trunk as you work the legs. Now lift the foot slightly higher and do the same. Can you draw your foot onto your chest? Abdomen rather. And squeeze the foot or the ankle with a gentle twisting action and lift the trunk. And take the foot slightly higher. And lift the trunk. Release and change legs. Left over right. Flex it 3 times. Slightly higher, holding your hands under. For hip mobility. Continue with this action. Alternatively, if you can, draw your foot towards the abdomen and place your foot on the abdomen. Stretch out the legs for Dandasana once again. And raise up the right knee, keeping the foot flat. Hold onto your thigh. So you're actually holding behind the knee, in between the knee and the thigh. And lift the leg, roll the thigh in, this side. And now a few circles with the leg, clockwise, anti-clockwise, just a gentle action. And now flex the foot. Toes away from you, toes towards you. Toes away from you, toes towards you. Toes away from you, toes towards you. Change legs. Lift up the left. Gentle rotation of the knee. Flex the foot forward and back. Toes away from you, toes towards you, toes away from you, toes towards you. One more full stretch, toes away from you, toes towards you. Release your legs, take your feet hip width apart, stretch the toes forward and stretch them back. Feel the Achilles area stretch. Once again, stretch forward, stretch them back, stretch them forward, stretch them back. Fold your left leg over the right, so your knees are in line. Hold onto your knee and lift. Away from your toe towards you. And now lift the trunk. And change legs. Right over left. Straight leg extends away from you. The foot of the bent leg presses onto the floor to lift the trunk. Release. And now fold your right leg in. Now if you would sit in Vajrasana. So your foot is facing away from you and the front leg is extended. Heel away from you, toe towards you, engage the straight leg. Can you press the top of the right foot down to lift the trunk? So in all these poses, we create a lift in the trunk. Take any sitting support that you need and lift the trunk. Use your fingertips to lift the trunk, or else you're going to strain the lower back. From here, interlace your fingers, rotate at the wrist, turn the palms away from you, breathe in and raise up the arms. Feel the openness in the trunk, broaden across the collarbone, soften the abdomen. Stretch the armpits. At the same time, press your sitting bone onto the floor to lift the trunk. Release your hands. Straighten your leg into down rest. Press your fingertips onto the floor, lift the trunk once again. Engage your thighs, heels away from you, toes towards you. Now change legs. Left foot facing back, pressing the tops of the feet, of the left foot, onto the floor. Right leg is extended, heel away from you, toe towards you. Lift your fingertips from the floor and lift. Engage, keep the trunk lifted. Interlace your fingers the other way. Rotate at the wrist, turn the palms away from you, breathe in and a full stretch up. Engage your thighs, press the sitting bones down and lift the trunk. Straighten up the legs once again. This time, bring your left knee under the right. That's the second. So your left leg forms a triangular base. Press the foot of the left leg firmly down and lift the trunk. Focus on the extension of the trunk and now shoot up the arms. Release. Straighten up the left leg. 13 Dandasana. Lift the sides of the trunk. And now change. Draw the right under left. Create this triangular base with the right leg. Keep the left leg straight. Press your fingertips on the floor. Lift the trunk. Working to find the lift in the trunk out of the sitting pose. Out, release your hands, straighten your legs. Coming to Upavista Konasana once again. Press your sitting bones down, roll the shoulders back and lift the chin. From here, fold your left leg in, Janusirasasana action. Feel the openness of the pelvic area and feel both these thighs lengthen away from each other. Breathe in from your hip all the way to the middle finger. Legs engaged to lift the trunk. Change leg. So the trunk is still very central. Raise up the arms. Press your thighs down to lift. Way to the middle finger. And release your hands. Straighten the legs into Dandasana once again. Now fold your left leg under the right. bringing the knee to face forward. Press the foot of the left leg down and fold the right over left. It doesn't matter at this stage how high the knee is. If they're not touching or they're not in line, it's perfectly fine. But what we need to find is that both sitting bones are firmly on the support and both your feet are firmly on the support. Your feet are out to the side, like the ears of a cow. This is preparation for Gomukhasana. Wrap your palms around your knee and lift the trunk out of the hips. Lift the crown of the head and sit tall. Can you now feel that this cross in Gomukhasana is giving you the stability in the pose? You choose to close your eyes and breathe in from the hip all the way to the shoulders, lifting the trunk. And straighten up the legs. Then in Dandasana, heels away from you, toes towards you. And fold the legs the other way. Draw the right leg in, knee facing forward. So it's important that the foot is firmly on the floor. And now cross the left over right. Sitting bones on the support or the mat. And both your feet facing out to the side. Wrap your fingers around the knee or keep them pressed onto the side of the trunk is perfectly fine on the floor, and lift the hips, lift the trunk, lift the shoulder blades. There's a lightness in the hips as you lift them, and then release them once more onto the floor. Both sitting bones on the support. So the sitting bones and the hips cement this pose. Breathe in from the hips to the armpits and feel a lightness in the trunk. Broaden across the collarbone, lift the crown of the head. Eyes closed, focus on the breath. Gomukhasana has the ability to be very calming and very quieting, provided we have the flexibility and mobility in the hips, the knees and the ankle joints. Feel the lift of the trunk as you straighten the legs. And fold the legs in for Virasana. So come to sit in between your heels. If this is difficult, sit in Vajrasana, sit on your heels. And now once again, lift the trunk out of the hips, thighs engaged. Soften the abdomen, broaden across the chest. Side of your mat. Take the knee wider and stretch your hands forward. And release into child's pose just as a release for the trunk. Press the tops of your feet down, move the groins back and soften the abdomen. Tuck the toes under. A gentle stretch into Adho Mukha Svanasana, releasing the back. Spread the fingers, spread the palms. Your knees once again and come to lie flat in your back. Keep your knees up and your feet flat on the floor. And if you have any tightness in the lower back, keep a low support under the hips. Release the chest. Release the hips. Keep the feet pressed onto the floor and the knees up. Soften the abdomen. Focus on just the exhalation. Your support. Straighten your right leg, straighten your left leg, and come to lie in Shavasana. Take your legs slightly wider than usual and feel the thighs rolling away from each other. Feel the knees rolling away from each other. Feel the ankles rolling away from each other. Hands on the abdomen. Raise up your knees one by one, keeping your feet flat on the floor. Settle to the floor. Raise up the right arm all the way past the right. Roll over onto your right hand side. And press to come to sit. Sit in any comfortable posture. Whatever posture suits you, but focus on having the legs weighted and the lightness of the trunk, the softness of the abdomen, and the broadness of the collarbone. Feel that your base below the hips is your foundation. Lift the trunk, broaden the chest, join your palms together. Eyes closed. Focus on the breath, and now feel the stability of the pose. And feel the softness inside the pose. Take a slow, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, release your chin to the chest. As you breathe in, slowly raise up your head. Release your hands and open your eyes. Have a wonderful day, and we will meet tomorrow for the quiet Friday class.